Yo, people, not really late. This is greatness because this will be on time because it's a premiere. Welcome back to another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. It's a great pleasure to be amongst you all today once again. I must say, this is the best intro I have for the sheer fact that it's long enough to allow me to set up everything behind the scenes as I need to with all of the face cams in the background. There's no stress. I get to do it in my own leisurely time. And of course, obviously, I'm working with the new equipment now, which is moving 10 times faster at 10 times the price. Younes, how are you doing today?
That's a good trade-off. I'm good, man. I'm good. Better than 2 days ago. But yeah, getting in there. Waiting to see what unfolds at our football club because now it's starting to get a bit sour, isn't it? It's getting a bit tasty. So yeah, no, apart from that, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Oh, you're right. It really is. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Miz, my brother, how are you doing, bro? Talk to me.
Bro, I'm doing fantastic, man. It's what happens every season. So I'm not sure why you guys are upset about it. This is the norm. I'm buzzing, man. I mean, you know, if this continues, we're probably going to have a new manager very soon. So
you had this in your calendar, basically. We're about to reach February, so that's manager sacking time. Yeah, okay.
A couple of weeks' time. Yep, new manager in the horizon.
Yeah. You know, around this time, most guys start thinking about Valentine's Day. If you're a normal guy who doesn't support Chelsea, and that's the next thing on your calendar. For us, we think about sackings and revolts and banners outside the bridge saying the circus continues, which is, I'm going to be holding that up with my arms raised this time. I wasn't holding it up last time. This time, I'm going to be out there in force if what Miz says even happens. But
I'll join you.
I mean, it's true. It's the yearly anniversary of the mayhem. Last year, we were talking about, Lampard and his sacking, and the whole world was shaking, and people were crying, and it was mad. It was a legend leaving earlier than anticipated. Well, if you're anyone but a Chelsea fan, because we obviously knew that was going to really happen, wasn't it? It's the norm. No manager has exceeded 3 years here since Roman has been appointed, and Tuchel is halfway through.
Is that true, Matisse?
Not even halfway through. Yeah.
Hang on, what? No manager
has not exceeded 3 years with Chelsea.
No. I mean, Mourinho
was Mourinho once.
Yeah, Mourinho was the only person.
He got to the fourth, just about.
Was it 3.5 years? Was it
3.5? Yeah.
But no manager has exceeded it past him.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think any manager's even done 3. I don't remember any manager.
No one else has done 3.
No.
Only a select few have made 2.
It ain't easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a great feat if you can get to 2. Get to 2, Thomas. Please.
I mean, he's halfway there. Look, the players are already trying it. And the board, even the board are trying it. They're like, we are going to give you nothing. You are going to prepare to suffer.
Prepare to suffer. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the journalists, they're coming around as well. Matt Law is piping away that.
Is he really? I haven't seen anything. Yesterday, in my video, I put it seems like everything's a bit calm and cool, which is good. Now you're saying this, I'm like, all right, maybe not.
No. Liam Toomey with a madness, Matt Law with a madness. Simon Johnson has that shiny draft ready to just come out any moment.
He's ready to press enter. Just done.
Matt Law has done an opinion piece, which always goes badly because the fans always say they think it's a report. They don't read the fact that he says it's his opinion. His opinion is nothing nice, of course, as well. And obviously they take it as gospel because it sounds like a report because it's Matt Law. Obviously some inside info as well contributes to that. Apparently the dressing room is a little bit split, if you haven't heard. And on top of that, the Angry Eyes report about Mason Mount. I've never seen anybody write a whole report based on the fact that somebody gave someone a death stare for 5 seconds before the match because he wasn't in the starting lineup against Manchester City. So, Angry Eyes Mason Mount is maybe he could brand off that. I know Angry Birds was a very successful game. Maybe Angry Eyes will be the next one for Mason. And I told on a tweet that he should give his Angry Eyes back to Tuchel because that performance against Brighton.
Did he play?
Oh yes, he did. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. He was apparently on that pitch.
I thought he was on holiday. I was going to say, enjoy your holiday.
So
I don't, with Matt Law, for example, why does he report us? I swear he's Villa.
Clicks. For
Yeah.
example. Gets a lot of clicks. A lot more Chelsea fans than Villa fans. I would do the same if I was him. If he gets paid by the click, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a very simple decision to make.
Yeah.
Younes, you know what I realized? I know you boys know I've got something against this particular fella, right? When it comes to transfer news, I believe him. He knows his
Is this
stuff.
the person that you made the video for?
Yeah. And recently I did a reaction on that Angry Eyes as well. He dropped another one today, by the way, about Ziyech. He's cooking something about Ziyech now. He's cooking, bro. He's cooking people up. He's cooking. Now, it is what it is. But you know what I realized, boys? This man knows the industry. Like, he knows how to make money. It's about the clicks. So he knows.
Yeah.
So kudos to him, man. You're gonna go straight to the top, Matt Law. You will go straight to the top. Yes, sir, you will. 100%. He knows, bro.
Do you know what's sad though about him is that he knows what he's usually spot on, and the truth sometimes does hurt. It's just a shame that he just sometimes doesn't stop talking. Sources claim Hakim Ziyech and Lukaku are friends, and it is more likely that they are frustrated with Tuchel's decisions, who subbed them both at the same time than each other. Matt Law.
He's cooking them, bro.
Hang on. So what was that at half time?
Nah,
they were still on the pitch.
He's spun a news story, Younes. He spun a news story.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. He doesn't worry about the timeline, Younes. Matt Law, timeline. Get the hell out. I spin my own story. So, yeah, it's all about the substitution now.
Also, Brogier's situation with Southampton may provide Chelsea with an opportunity. I've heard this before. Gurhi, Livramento, Tomori, Lamptey. An opportunity to get some money in the bank early. Yay, can't wait, because we're so good at scouting and finding players once we get the money. It wouldn't be a surprise if he joined Southampton. Rice, Tchouameni, Koundé are all on the wish list for the summer, but Chelsea posted a £145 million loss from Simon Johnson.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's start with that, because I think right now it's about time we spoke and put some pressure on this board, because I want to get a few things in order before we go on a rampage here. But those are the two biggest headlines today so far this morning in the papers. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We made an £145 million loss. That tells me two things. Roman is not putting any money in, so he's fully tapped out. He's just like watching on the sidelines, just chilling near the red button on the yacht, saying, "If you really need me and you're going into liquidation, I shall save you." But unfortunately, apart from that, I am busy with other ventures, which is fair enough. He wants to be self-sustainable. We knew this for years, hence why the youth academy was so important. The issue is Marina is now working to a strict budget where she needs to balance the books. Clearly, in the transfer window, she did 100 million in, 100 million out, roughly. And previous transfer windows, we know transfer ban. That's why we spent the money we did under Lampard. Again, that all balances out pretty much as well. So we don't really spend money anymore. We try to balance the books. And for that, you need scouts. Liverpool have shown that. If you're going to be tight with your finances, probably a good idea to have some good scouts. So you have cheap signings like Tsimikas, or even if they are expensive signings, they work, most of them, 80% of them, good hit rate. And you don't have to replace them or waste any money. Chelsea have no money, apparently, tight money, and no good scouts. So you can imagine the issues they have come into over the last few years with players and squad building. And unfortunately, all the money that is coming in is from the talented players, because obviously they're worth something and people want them, and there's trajectory and resale value there. And they're all from Cobham, the players that we should be keeping to rebuild the squad for the future. It is the most backwards, self-destructive, stupid thing that is going on right now I've ever seen. We're talking about bringing back Emerson because Kennedy is not going to cut it. No, who knew that? Who knew?
Are we still chasing Emerson?
I mean, yeah, we are, because Emerson's
this is
coming
meant
out
to be dead.
Yeah, Emerson's reportedly okay with coming back now, so we're still thinking about how we're going to seduce Leon into saying yes. No means no, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, so when it comes to Emerson, he's going to be coming back. But what is so funny and ironic is we are literally the masters of producing fullbacks and wingbacks who can play both sides for free. But they had to leave because we had dead wood on the books, and the cycle continues. So now, when Chelsea have Bakayoko or whoever's coming back, Danny, drink Drinkwater, Bobby Rahman, Barkley's still here. All of these players, I don't know, Batshuayi, whoever comes back in the summer, some of them are coming, some of them are not. Kennedy's back already. I can't, he's in early. He's first in line in the queue for the first preseason game. When they all come back, Chelsea are going to struggle to get them off the books again. That's going to delay us getting our key targets. And who's going to be sold? Brozier, Gallagher. 20 million here, 25 million there. The cycle continues, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm sorry. Those two, especially Gallagher, no. If that happens, I'll make the banner. We'll go up to the bridge ourselves, Matisse. You want to do that?
I wouldn't even be surprised if Levi Colwill is put in that bracket as well.
Hey, why not? Throw them all in. I mean, look what happened last year, right? We sold Tomori, Gurhey, Livramento, Abraham. Those were the 4 key young players that I remember going. Obviously, Lewis Bate, but there's cheap change. Ogbo, I don't really mind. They're fine.
Lamptey as well.
Lamptey the year before, yeah. We sold those 4 players so we could finance one guy called Romelu Lukaku.
Oh my God, what did we do?
And you know what? Let's put it this way. And that one guy that we thought, this is a big marquee signing, he's going to come to us, not only produce on field, but the merchandise sales. Everyone's going to buy a Lukaku jersey. Come on.
I got one.
He goes and sneaks out. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen,
special design.
Jersey on.
You're going to love this.
Special design.
You're going to love
snaking
this.
out around the 9. The irony is ridiculous. It was the design was created before the interview. It's incredible that the designer just knew this would happen, and these are going to sell like hotcakes. But your point is so valid.
Do you remember when we got Lukaku, or just as we were about to buy Lukaku, we sold these players, and all of us were like, "Fantastic business! Oh, look at the way we've generated the funds! Oh, look! Oh, this is amazing, Marina! You're a godsend! Look at us now! Look at us now! Oh my God, this was a terrible decision.
Marina, you are in the dump."
Lock me up, take me to prison, take me to jail. I'm not the first content creator to have to go behind bars right now. Lock me up.
You're posing like him as well with the with the club's jersey.
Listen, I was tweeting. This is why I always like to make it very clear on this channel. I'm human, and I when I get things wrong, I'm gonna come out and tell you. And this is one of those ones we got very wrong. Okay, as Jamie Carragher would say, we got this one completely wrong. I was typing masterclass, masterstroke, unbelievable business. We've just paid nothing for a world-class, multifaceted, multi-dimensional.
Don't use that word. Don't use that multifaceted, bro.
And we also loaned out Brozier as well. We also loaned out Brozier. So my point is that, we are in the mud currently with the way that we are set up and the way that we are structured and organized. And I didn't give the board heat last summer because I saw how many players they needed to get rid of. And I understand it's not easy to get rid of this many players because, we have to wait for the other clubs to come in. We have to make sure that they have certain players off their books before they can bring in our players. And that's why everything takes so long. And Marina is just one woman dealing with all of this, including Trivago sponsorships or whoever she has to sign up. And it's a lot of work for someone to get through in a very short space of time. The summer, it feels like a long time for us because we're not actually doing the work, but it does all go by very quickly. My issue right now that I'm going to point out with Marina, first time I'm going to criticize her publicly is the last couple of days and on yesterday's show on London Clubs Carnage and this one. If you've got a lot of work to do, you better surround yourself with intelligent people. And she hasn't. That's the issue here. Petr Cech, love him. Very intelligent guy. He's not one of the people I'm going to be involving in that. But he is inexperienced in his role. Technical director, inexperienced. So that's a question mark that's going to have to come up at a certain point. We're going to evaluate his time period as technical director because it's not just signing Mendy. You've got to do more than that, of course. And was he a success or not? Because he is a rookie in his role. Speaks loads of language, very intelligent, but he is a rookie in his role. He is competing with Tiki at Manchester City. He's competing with Mucci at Sevilla. He's competing with Ralph Ragnick when he goes upstairs at Manchester United. All of these experienced guys who have been there, done it year in, year out, have got a track record to prove it. The scouts. I have never been more certain that the most important thing she could do right now is sack some of those scouts. And if need be, maybe Petr Cech becomes goalkeeping scout and you get an experienced technical director, because since Michael Emenalo, there has really been no replacement there. But forget that's unrealistic. They've got a good working relationship. He's in that position. The scouts. Why is Ross Turnbull a scout? Did you know that? Ross Turnbull is a Chelsea scout. Wow. Former Middlesbrough, third choice goalkeeper. Ross Turnbull is a scout for Chelsea. Now, please, somebody, I don't want to make assumptions here, but what experience does he have at acquiring top talent from his playing career after not even really playing with top talent for very long? I mean, he was a goalkeeper at Chelsea, third choice, but come on now. Hilario is obviously one of our goalkeeping coaches. We've got a lot of former, players. Seems like a cushy job to get. Masunda's brother was also a scout. I think he's just gone to Tottenham. Scott McTominay, the scout, is the chief scout now. So we've gone from De Vistere, the Dutch guy, who acquired Mikel, acquired Matic, acquired Gus Hiddink, both the times we needed him as short-term fixes. Very close connection to Roman as chief scout. Made a lot of great decisions. Some iffy ones as well. He's still here as an advisor, but he retired a long time ago. He's now just basically a Silas Ferguson to us on the peripherals. Scott McTominay, the scout, is the chief scout. He's made enough F-ups now for us to say, no, that's enough now. Because players get sold, managers get sacked, scouts, unfortunately, they need to be held accountable too. It's just like referees do. So yeah, I know you're Googling it. He really is a scout.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've got the list up. There's a total of 9 scouts at Chelsea, right? And yeah, Ross Turnbull was the most appointed one, was the most recently appointed one in 2021. But I'm looking at these scouts, bro, and I'm like, oh my God. What's good with Transfer Market is they tell you what last club they worked at. Yeah. They're all pony, man. All right, Scott McLachlan who's the chief scout. I think this is where most people have a problem. It's with Scott McLachlan. This guy, I think, should not be here anymore. I think that's pretty evident. He's been the chief scout throughout all of the shocking transfer windows we've had. So if he's the one that's making the final sign-off on the players that we're spotting, then he doesn't belong here. His last club was Fulham. We've got David Wilson. His last club was, oh my God, I don't even know what flipping team this is. Young Skyle SK. Where the hell are they?
Chesterfield.
I don't know where they're from. We've got Addy Mings. Addy Mings' last club was
Tyrone Mings. Related to Tyrone Mings.
You're gonna like this. Chippenham Town, mate. I don't even know what league they're in. Mazzieri, last club was Norwich. We see where they are. On Saint Andre, his last club I think was Lens in France. No, US Orleans. Sorry, that's a French second division team.
That sounds like a rapper, Saint Andre.
We've got Turnbull. Obviously, we know where he's been. We've got Anders Jensen, who his last club was Sarpsborg 08FF. Okay, so
it's like the fake Salzburg, not even the real, the Austrian one or the German one.
God knows, mate. And Carl Magne, who's another youth scout, and he hasn't got a last club. I don't know where we've plucked him from. And Christoph Lolichon, who we know and we have respect for. He was the one that pretty much made Petr Cech, and he's the goalkeeping scout. I haven't got a problem with that. I think he's the best in the business.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But this is the levels. If you look, I'm going to compare this very quickly. When Roman acquired the club in 2004, and we needed a director from the get-go, who did we go and get? Peter Kenyon. Man United's director, not sporting director, but Man United's director at the time, undersaw exactly what was going on under Alex Ferguson. That was his responsibility, right? We plucked him away from Man United. That is a big boy signing. That is bringing in someone that's going to know their stuff. And the first thing Peter Kenyon done was look at the manager and go, we need someone who's going to transform this team. Boom. European champion, Mourinho over in now. Yeah. Big moves. mate, we've got these guys as our scouts. You know, I mean, how are they going to know what a big top team requires when they haven't got the background of what it's like in a top big team? They haven't been in that environment. It's baffling. If we want a top scout, as you said, Matisse, earlier on, Liverpool would be the place to go.
Southampton.
Or even
Leicester.
or even so, those clubs that have created the talent in order to feed those big clubs like a Liverpool and whatnot, you know, where would those players come from? That would definitely be beneficial. We're plucking these scouts off from flipping God knows where. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what? Even before scouts, and I don't know if this is the the footballing director's role. We need someone who's actually going to be able to sit down with Thomas Tuchel and say, Gaffer, how are you going to play? Like,
that's meant to be Czech, I think.
Is that meant to be Czech?
He's the link from Tuchel on the squad to Marino, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Technical director,
So let's say it's Czech. As you said, Matisse, he's not even experienced in this job. We need someone who's actually done this in an extensive level. We need someone first to sit down with Thomas Tuchel and actually tell him that, look, don't worry about your job. Your job's quite safe as long as you can tick the boxes that we have, so on and so forth. We want to know how you want to play. Is it the three at the back, the wing backs? Do you want wide wingers? What is the philosophy? Where do you picture Chelsea in a few years' time, couple of years, 3 years? How do you want to progress? Okay, Thomas Tuchel then comes up with a plan. He works on it and he sets a blueprint. We then need that person to understand that blueprint.
Yeah.
Then go to the scouts and go, boys, check this blueprint, read it, understand it, and then go and get the players that suits this. Now,
not the obvious names that we all could find ourselves. Some actual obscure names. Because
like
some of Chelsea's best signings, if you look at Chelsea's record signings, most of them have flopped now. Morata, Kepa, Lukaku so far. Obviously, it's not over yet. Torres.
Right, throwing Werner and all of those. Throwing the recent ones.
Even the recent Havertz so far, not of the level. Werner, not of the level. Like, money, splashing the cash, very rarely right now is working. Chilwell is the most expensive one, I think, so far that I can say is a success at 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a few I'm forgetting. Apologies, but point is that money, being cheap or being splashing doesn't actually quantify with good quality or bad quality. Tsimikas, I use the example all the time from Olympiacos, second choice left back for Liverpool, 12 million, brilliant signing. Chelsea have signed Babarahman, Emerson, so we have like 7 left backs to try and do that. One bit of scouting that they've done for Tsimikas, we've tried to do it about 7 times to replace Ashley Cole.
Have you guys heard the story about Salah, how he made it to Liverpool? Apparently,
yes.
That's not what that's not what Jurgen Klopp wanted.
That's the point I was going to make. Yeah,
Jurgen Klopp didn't want Salah. He had some other brother's name in his head.
He wanted
because Salah was in Roma. So
he wanted Mario Götze.
Yeah,
and he wanted Julian Brandt.
Julian Brandt. That's it.
Mario Götze was at Dortmund because he'd worked with him. And managers do tend to want to work with players they've worked with. Obviously, some of because that's just normal to them. They're not scouts. They want to work with players they work with. That's their fallback.
Yeah.
Julian Brandt was at Bayer Leverkusen, and Edwards and his scouting team said, for what you want to do, Mane and Salah. Yeah. And they overrided him. And this is when people say back the manager, or you don't want this player, what happened to backing the manager? I want that all abolished. Or at least just don't come to me with that logic. Because just because Tuchel wants a player, it doesn't mean I have to want him either. Like, I back Tuchel to the heavens, but I'm not going to agree with every single thing he does. You know why? Because he's human. I'm human. I have my own brain. His brain is far more superior to mine in terms of football, but I'm still not going to agree with everything because he's going to make some mistakes. Yeah. He wants Dembele, reportedly. I don't want Dembele. I don't like Dembele's attitude from the last 3 clubs.
There's a breaking news, Matisse. There's a breaking news. Apparently, Chelsea wants to put a 15 million euros bid to get Dembele right away.
They probably will. They probably will.
I
don't think he's going to last in terms of fitness. I'd be shocked if fitness wise he can handle the Premier League. He's a very talented player. I rate him as a player, very talented. I think everybody probably rates him as a talent. But to come into the Premier League, a more physical league with the injury issues he has, I highly doubt he's going to play consistently. I think he's going to pick up niggling injuries all the time, which means he's never then going to be consistent at the top level for us. He's going to play well, and he's going to get injured, and then we're going to have the same issue with Ziyech, where Ziyech plays well, then he gets injured, and Pulisic might play well, then he gets injured. Same thing. So that's that's not good, right? It's not good.
He'll end up spending more time at Royal Brompton Hospital than he would at Stamford Bridge. Just saying.
You know,
the whole Dembele situation is quite mad. Just before we get into the Dembele, just quickly, the Salah thing. You need the footballing director to have that audacity, that guts to then tell the manager as well, look, Gaffer, I understand what you need. Hear me out. I've run some numbers from what you're telling me and what you're looking for in terms of high intensity press, wide wingers, who's going to fit. This is your man. I know you're wanting this. That may not work. This is your guy. We need that caliber of an individual. I feel like Peter Cech, as soon as Thomas Tuchel opens his mouth, Peter Cech, well, you're right. We'll get this player. Let's get him. Like, you need Peter to say, no, Thomas, I don't think so. I understand what you need. Here's a player. Sleep on it. Go.
But Cech doesn't have that experience scouting to have that authority. That's what you need, the CV. If you look at Ralf Rangnick, all the players he's brought in over his times at previous clubs as well, RB Leipzig, etc. If you look at Campos, he built the Lille team. He built the Monaco team. If you look at maybe some of the Ajax guys, if you look at
Man City guy, Shiki.
Yeah, Tiki, Man City guy. They brought him in before Pep even came in. If you look at Southampton, they've got a great record for recruitment. Leicester, great record recently for recruitment. Ralf Rangnick, I've mentioned him already. You need that experience to have that authority. You can't have no experience and no CV and have the authority. We've seen how it works with managers. It doesn't usually work. If you come in all guns blazing with mad authority, trying to tell people what to do and trying to, a Viespo as Frank Lampard, trying to, get rid of some seniors so you can move forward with a project, but you don't have the CV managerial wise to back it up. These players, regardless of your playing career, are going to look at you. They're going to look at you funky and be like, I'm not sure about all that, big man, because you haven't won anything. So, the point is that Marina, all the way down, she has not surrounded herself anymore with the most intelligent people. Michael Emenalo was brilliant. I go back to this period all the time. Hazard, both the Hazard brothers. Lukaku the first time round, Courtois, De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah. Where are the scouts to bring in these type of players? Even the chief scout, Divesti, like I said, Mikel, Matic, making sure we had these key players. Where is the scouts to identify, oh, you know what? Yeah, we'll go Tchouaméni over Saul because, yes, Tchouaméni is going to cost more next year. Yes, Tchouaméni might not be ready right now, but when Fabinho signs for Liverpool, they give him a year to acclimatise. When Cancelo and Rodri sign for Manchester City, they give them a year to acclimatise. So maybe we should sign Tchouaméni now, not Saul. So we should actually plan, because the midfield is getting kind of leggy and old and imbalanced. Maybe we'll buy him now, give him a year to acclimatise. We'll play him half the games, Jorginho half the games. And then next season, when Jorginho is really starting to move on now, Tchouaméni will be ready. But what we keep doing is panicking. We keep buying players and throwing them into the starting 11 immediately because we have to, because the squad is not good enough. So Havertz comes in, straight into the 11. You have to do the business right now. Of course, he's not ready to do it. And that goes for every new signing recently from abroad, from these other countries, these other leagues. We put them under immense pressure from the get-go. You have to deliver. And we as fans do it as well. I'm guilty of it because we expect them to deliver immediately because the first 11 is not good enough. Whereas those other two teams that I've just mentioned, they've already built their teams from the Emenalo period, because that's what it was, building from that moment up until now to dominate and be the two leading teams in the Premier League, which is what we could have been if we had followed his rules the first time around, potentially. So they have their first 11 now. And then if we wanted to balance the books, we'd have no problem because we'd have Cobham coming through that. We'd have an experienced team at the top level, Cobham coming through that, and the turnover would have been there for everyone to see. Now, we've got all of our mistakes from Conte 2017, all those shit players that we brought in, where we did, God knows what due diligence was done, because it was just like a wave of, even Dillabodji and Hector, all them brothers they tried to bring in. Like, people, it's madness.
Matt Miezga.
So we had like 40 and 50 players out on loan, and now FIFA rules come in next year. We're still, every year we're trying to get rid of them. We're just clearing out all the dead wood. It's not because we need the money, or maybe we do, but it's because We just have too many players. And when you have too many players, youngsters don't see a future. They don't see a way through to the first team, and they leave. And that's exactly what's happened. Because it's a cheap, quick buck that we can make, stick a buyback on it. Maybe we'll get that back in the future, but we're going to have to pay premium. We're going to pay double, triple the price. What is Livramento worth right now? He was worth 5 million in the summer to us. What's he worth right now? 40 million? Lamptey, 3 million, probably worth 40 million.
That's a buyback. Livramento is 40 million.
That's how much money we've lost. People need to start looking at market value, sale point to current worth. Whatever it is, that's what we've lost. So it looks like we've made a profit, and this is their mentality. We've made a profit. We're in the green, but you've lost 30 million on both those players, minimum. That's what you've done. And you've kept Batshuayi when you could have sold him for 40 million to Dortmund, but you wanted 60, and now he's going for free. And you've kept all these other guys that you offered 100, 120, 130K because they can't be sold because they have no value in the market. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants Barkley. Nobody wants all these guys. That's also money you're losing. So, we're not even a disaster, but that's where we need to improve right now. If we're going to keep Tuchel long term and we're going to use because people talk about, oh, well, it's not a disaster if Chelsea fire him because that's what we're used to. Take a look at Chelsea in the first 10 years of Roman in the Premier League and take a look in the second 10 years. We are not as competitive in the Premier League in terms of first, second title charges as we have been over the last number of years. Why is that? Because football is changing. The hire and fire mentality we had previously, we had that with top players. John Terry, Lampard, Ballack, Makalele, Drogba. We had seniors that could carry the team from manager to manager, keep winning. This group can't do that. They'll still get some trophies. They'll get some cups. But look at what is going on around us. Pep, Manchester City. If Ten Hag goes in there when Pep leaves, they're going to continue what they're doing. There's a blueprint.
Big time, yeah. Yep.
So, and then couple with the fact that our most prized possessions are young players. Young players don't do well under circumstances of upheaval. Different managers every 5 minutes. It doesn't work. That's for the senior world-class players that I just mentioned. So we have to stop this right now. And that's why I'm so angry, because if we get this summer wrong, January's done. We're not going to do anything substantial in January. We've got too many left backs. We might get someone on loan. Maybe this Dembele guy will come in for 15 million. I don't know what attacker's going to leave because we have about 7 attackers for 3 positions.
7 attackers, yeah. Now we'll have 8.
More stockpiling. More stockpiling, by the way, for someone who's fugazi enough, But hey, we need to sort our shit out right now. This is a very important turning point because we have a top manager. And if we lose this manager, I don't know. It's going to be a downgrade from here. That's all I'm saying.
Just on that Dembele, I don't know if you guys know this, the background story. People just look at Dembele as the footballer, very talented, two-footed, so on and so forth. We all know it's very well documented, the injuries. We all know that, fine. He's not someone who's been banging goals in recent times either. So he used to do that when he was a lot younger. He's 24 now. When he was 17, 18, 19, he used to bang in a lot of goals. In recent times, obviously, injuries affected that. But it's not like he's producing the numbers. So that aside, here are some other news about Dembele that you really need to go out and search. And I hope our football club's doing this. Dembele is on £210,000 per week in Barcelona. Apparently, there's a rumor that he wanted £700K per week to stay at Barcelona. And Barcelona laughed and said, my man, we're in the mud already with your 210, let alone 700,000. Don't think we can give you that. So definitely, why would you leave Barcelona? Yeah, they're in a bit of a mud now, but they're not always going to be there. So it's a very prestigious club. They've done well in Europe. Why would you want to leave? Obviously, it's for the money, Dembele. We know it's for the money. So this is one thing we need to be very careful. Although it's 15 million euros, we're getting him for cheap, let's just say, who could still be free in 5 months' time. So let's think about that. Chelsea will have to pay big-time wages. That will create another ripple effect. All the existing attackers, whoever stays, they'll start thinking, well, why is this guy getting paid so much more? What has he done? What has he done? It's all...
Even Rudiger will be like, yo, well, wait. No, you don't come through the door yet, bruv. You join the queue.
Can you imagine, Younes, how Rudiger would feel? You're penny pinching with me, yet you're about to give Ousmane Dembele. So we've talked about injuries. We've talked about now the high wage demands as well, because Dembele is not coming for half the price of what he's currently in Barcelona, 210,000. By the way, that stat is 2 years ago, so I don't know whether that's changed since then, 210,000. Lastly, I don't know if you guys seen this. Hugh Weezy was the one where I saw this particular video, maybe about a year ago. It was right after the Euros when this news broke. He's got racism scandal issues, Ousmane Dembele. He made fun about Asian background people. That whole thing is in the internet for you guys to see what he did. He was laughing at Asians with his mate Antoine Griezmann. He then had to come up with an apology because it was so widespread. It was viral, and everyone saw how he was being racist to Asians out there. And we need to understand, this guy's going to kneel down in the Premier League with Black Lives Matters. We have to understand his character as well. It's not just the talent. How is he as a human being outside? We recently heard that Chelsea scouts are doing extensive stat analysis on Tchouaméni and trying to check in on his personality, character assessment. Yeah, go and do the character assessment on Ousmane Dembele to see if or is he going to be another sneak in when things get tough? He'll start doing interviews. He'll start getting his agents. I don't know. I feel a bit strange about this particular player. Already his agents are having fights with Barcelona, which is understandable. Obviously, Barcelona wants him to sign the contract extension. He's not. But do you want this particular brother to cause tension? Exactly. Even though Thomas Tuchel knows him, Thomas Tuchel knew him back in 2016-17.
Yeah.
It's been how many years now? I highly doubt they're WhatsApp, friends. Like, let's keep in touch. Dembele, I don't know if they really do that, but I think
it's a bit of a red flag as well that we have to highlight in the way that we see him leaving Barcelona right now. That's a red flag. I personally don't want that because it could happen to us. Now, what we're seeing now with Barcelona and they come up with that statement saying that he doesn't want to extend. He's not committed. He wants to leave. We need him gone by the 31st of Jan. Then, if he's not going to be committed, what does that tell you? When we've bought top players in the past who have at least become top players who started off as not big household names but came to Chelsea and made themselves, we never had an issue like that, even in terms of trying to get them. They were respectful to their clubs. We come in with an offer. Club can't refuse. They go, okay, we'll come to some sort of deal. It comes to a deal, agree personal terms. We acquired a player, but everything between him and his old club is completely amicable, and they're cool. Someone, it's funny. We mock, well, not we. I see many people mock like Brendan Rodgers when he talks about character. Because that's, character. It's a very Brendan Rodgers thing, our character. He's so great character. It's always what he says, right?
Did you just steal Brendan Rodgers' voice as well?
Kind of.
Oh my God.
An attempted one. But you know what? Deep down, he's got a point. He's got a point, man. Character means a lot, especially in modern day football. A lot.
How do we feel about what you bring to the dressing room?
Exactly. And look, we feel like we've been scammed. Fully scammed. It's like that advert. Matisse knows. We've got an advert here in England where it shows you this woman who's got like his headset and she's like in some sort of office and she's talking and she's like with a smile on her face and then she does this sort of like dodgy deal and she's looking at the camera and she's like, do you see what I did there? Because you've been scammed. I scammed you. That's how we feel right now. That's with Lukaku, who we thought was coming with all the love and whatnot. Dembele right now, what's happening at Barca and the way he's leaving that club is a red flag. On top of all the injuries he has and whatnot. We don't need that, man. We don't need that. And if we do that, it screams desperation.
It is desperation. That's exactly what him and Hazard links are all about. Desperation.
Yeah.
Because if we weren't desperate, we wouldn't be trying to sign players that are risks. Because if whether you disagree with me that you want Hazard and Dembele or you don't, and you agree with me, one thing everybody will agree with in this chat when they're watching is it's a risk. And, you shouldn't really be making signing. I mean, every signing is a risk, but you shouldn't be saying it's such a big risk before you even bring them in.
Exactly.
That's
obvious,
there's different
blatant risks.
Blatant risks, like obvious, clear hazards. Pardon the pun. So, it screams desperation. It screams lack of planning, and it screams, you know, again, people not really having an alternative. If someone says they want something and you don't have an alternative or a better solution, then how can you really tell them, you know, if you can't reason with them, how can you really tell them no? You have to just let them do what they want, isn't it? Because you don't really have an alternative or a solution or a better option. And that's basically what I think is the situation for us. But for me, you know, the most important signing we could make right now is some sort of backroom staff, you know, scouting systems, you know, something like that for me would actually be the most important thing, because that's why our fan base is so attached to names. You know, everybody's so attached to, I was so attached to Haaland or Lukaku, Declan Rice. We've seen it as well in other parts of the fan base. Why are we so attached? Because A, we only know the obvious names because we're not scouts. When we're not paid to do this. If I was paid to scout, bloody hell, I'd be at every single, you know, team in Europe every single day. I'd love it, but don't have time for it. We don't have time to scout. We're fans. I don't blame fans for not having an option that Tuchel would want in January at left wing back who we can get on loan. It's not our job. It's not our job at all. You don't need to worry in the chat. You're not meant to be able to give me names. Give me the obvious names. We will play some. Well, I used to play FIFA. Give me the obvious names. That's you're a fan. Just remember that. The people that are paid to find solutions are also going with the most obvious solutions or the most obvious players. And that screams out, you're not really scouting, because you don't need a scout to really tell you about Lukaku. Everybody knows who Lukaku is. You don't need a scout to tell you about even Kai and Werner. These guys were bait, obvious players. Like, everybody knew them. Everybody knew them in Germany. Everybody was talking about them. Where are the obscure signings, the
unknowns,
come in,
the talents,
the unknowns,
the Mendy,
the Aspilicuetas,
the
Ivanoviches? Where are these guys?
Yeah,
nowhere to be found. Some of the most successful players in our history didn't cost much and were obscure. It came in very minimal expectation. No one thought they were world class, but they became it because we did our due diligence. And that's the main issue here. But we obviously will move on to some parts of the game as well. Any more Mourinho slander, or not even slander, any more board criticism, and I don't know, something might get flagged up on YouTube. So that's
Chelsea might be onto us.
Yeah, I feel like we've made our point. Like I said, it's not to say that we have a disastrous, you know, our club is not a complete mess. Of course not. We've done many great things. But to move into this next era with a manager sustainable, which we've never done for more than 3 years, which we mentioned earlier, to do things differently, we need to make changes. Because otherwise the same shit's going to happen again and again. If you don't mind the model of selling young players that are talented, changing managers every 2-3 years, and just winning cups and the odd league, then this model is for you. Don't worry about anything I've just said. Continue. If you want to dominate the Premier League, which we've never really done, I'm talking about dominate for like Man City, you know,
Man City right now.
3 and 4, 4 and 5, like dominate. When Pep goes and you want to take advantage of that next era, then maybe this is a discussion for you. Let's talk about very briefly the Brighton performance, and then how we don't do that again against Tottenham. because that game, and you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Ziyech didn't celebrate. Neither did I. So I'm not even really. People are trying to make a lot out of it.
No, I celebrated.
Yeah, people. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, it was an absolute screamer.
I was like, "Come with me."
But you know, I didn't celebrate because the game up until that point, the performance up until that point was so poor, and I just knew we weren't gonna win. I just knew, like, the Premier League doesn't lie this season. If you perform poorly, you usually don't get the points. Like, there is no Cardiff away with Loftus-Cheek with the last minute header. It doesn't happen very often for us. If you perform like shit, you take shit from the game. That is literally what is happening. So I saw the performance. I saw who was in attack, the combination. I saw the wing backs, and I just thought to myself, or the full backs. I just said to myself, this is not going to go well. We're gonna drop points here. Brighton are a good team. I've been watching them extensively. I went to the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge, 1-1 draw, Daniel Welbeck. I went to the Palace game at the weekend in Brighton, and obviously we just played them. They're a very good footballing team. If they had competent forwards who could hit goal, if they had like a Danny Ings and a Tabby Abraham or someone of that ilk,
They'd be top 4.
That team would be pushing. It would be pushing P, as people like to say on TikTok. I mean, Younes, what did you make of the performance, man? Like,
it was poor, man. It was poor. Aside from the goal, that was it. Like, that moment after the goal was the only good portion of the game that we had. Even from the get-go, you could just tell everything was going wrong in terms of the way we were moving the ball, the body language, the pace. Everything was off from minute one. Even doing the watch along, I was pointing out mistakes that I was seeing so obviously. You don't need to be a flipping, certified coach to be able to spot these mistakes. I'm picking them out after 5-6 minutes, and by 12 minutes, I think I've already mentioned about 5 or 6 different things that I know have just gone wrong already. And then we end up getting the goal, and even that I was like, yo, we're lucky here. We've managed to take advantage of one occasion. We don't deserve to be ahead. We're ahead. Okay, can we build on that? No, of course not. Of course not. And Brighton are no mugs. We knew Brighton were no mugs, man. Just not long ago, they came to the bridge and done what they done in terms of coming back into the game and even dominating that entire second half. We knew what we was coming up against. We knew that Graham Potter was going to have a plan, especially when we didn't have, we still don't have any wing backs properly. The confidence is low. Body language is off. Things are not linking up. We have players up top that can't hit a barn door. It's just the whole thing is mad. So Brighton were going to come and take advantage, especially with their fullbacks, by the way, which I have to highlight, man. And if we're trying to look for someone on the left side, Cucurella, I'd throw the bank at Brighton to get that Donny to the bridge right now because of the way he's playing. And for Tariq Lamptey, I look at him and go, oh my God, how did we let this brother go? Like, how did we let this guy go, man? And I kind of understood it at the time, especially with Reece James in the side and the fact he wanted regular football. But I'm just like, oh man, if we had Tariq Lamptey, it'd be a wrap. He was running rings, and so was Cucurella. He got man of the match, very deservedly. But we just look all over the place, man. And I heard what Thomas Tuchel said after the game. We're tired and all that. And I can get that to an extent. Yeah, it's an extent. But as I've said in my video, I think it goes way deeper than that. And I think he's used the one excuse to just shut everyone up for a bit, which is the correct thing to do right now, especially to the public and to the press. But body language is off right now, man. Something's off and it doesn't feel normal. And I know we just beat Tottenham, but after what Tottenham did yesterday, they're going to be coming with that form. They're going to be coming with that will of, we have to get a result here and put them to the sword because of the way that they just disposed of us in the League Cup. This weekend's not going to be easy against Spurs. It's not. And unless these players wake up, especially the front line, because right now there's not one player in an attacking position that knows what the hell they're doing. Not one. So we have to wake up. If not, man, the worst result is to lose against Tottenham at the bridge. That's the worst possible result for us.
We, as a board, the hierarchy, they need to be a little bit ashamed because Brighton's doing what really we should be doing as a football club. Brighton's got a gaffer that the entire organization in Brighton understands what he wants to do, and they found him gems. And I was saying this in my stream. Why aren't we the team to sign Cucurella? Why is it Brighton signing Cucurella? Why are we keeping Alonso and they've got Cucurella?
Because they've got actual scouting, and I think they're reserved to it because they are a club that don't have the resources like we do, and they're like, we need to find gems. If not, we're not going to survive. But we don't take that mentality. We're like, we'll just go with the names because we're Chelsea.
But you know what, Younes? We don't even go with the names. Like Alonso is.
It's just because he's got a track record, isn't it?
Yeah,
like he's won a league title. He's won a couple of cups.
City, as soon as they see a bad apple, out, get out of here. Yeah. Straight away. You're a bad apple.
Look at the way they disposed of Ferran Torres. So easy.
Bro, Ferran Torres just made one whisper that he doesn't enjoy being there. And Pep said, out, see ya. I don't want that. Can you imagine if Lukaku did what he did with Pep? I think Lukaku would be finished by now. His career would be gone under Pep Guardiola. This is the thing. We need to understand clubs like Brighton, Liverpool, City, how they operate from a hierarchical area, right? Because we've got the manager at the moment to do that. You look at that Brighton team. Azpilicueta and Alonso would never start for Brighton, but yet they start for us. And I know we've got our injury issues or whatnot, but Alonso, Aspi, Aspie, we should have started realizing, talking about Livramento, right? Our board should have realized that Aspie is on his final legs. We need to start having conversations with him that you're going to start slowly reducing. We're going to reduce your minutes. And someone needs to sit down with Livramento and say, listen, you're young. You will get minutes. I kid you not, you will get minutes. Reece James won't play every game. And if anything, maybe Reece might be RCB because Aspie might be moved on. Yeah, we got Chalobah as well, but there'll be plenty of minutes. You may even play in the left wing back. You get enough minutes to develop this season. Don't you worry. We've got plenty. And eventually enough, he would have seen minutes. Yeah. We always blame that. We always have this perspective that, it's them who wants to go. It's the kids that want to go. They want to play. But what about the seniors of the club, the hierarchy sitting down and actually talking through them? Look at Armando Broja now as well. I'm not going to be surprised one bit if we sell him. I'm not going to be surprised because Marina is thinking about the money. And Marina is probably thinking, this is probably just a one-hit wonder from Armando Broja. Is he really going to do this next season? I might cash in now. And if he does, we'll just chuck in a buyback, which will be something what they've done with Livramento, 40 million. Now it looks like Chelsea will get Livramento. So how stupid does Chelsea look now? You sell him for 5 million and now you're going to get him back for 40 million. You've made a loss on your own player. You're going to be doing that with Armando Broja as well. So, and Tariq Lamptey is a Champions League level right back. He's a Champions League level. Brighton's lucky they've got him. They're going to lose him very soon, but they're going to clean up. They're going to make a lot of money out with Tariq Lamptey. This is what I mean. We don't operate as a proper football club. And that game against Brighton, boys, we should have lost both the games against Brighton, by the way.
Yep.
One in Bridge, we should have lost. We got away with that. Second half, Brighton was all over us like a rash. And this game, besides that Ziyech shot, it was just the Hudson-Odoi shot that Lukaku fed him. Besides that, there was nothing. Nothing. Chelsea Football Club, European champions against Brighton. That's it in the 90 minutes? Come on. Brighton was all over us. So this is... I do have to blame Thomas Tuchel a little bit as well. I think we're giving him a bit too much pass at times. I know both of you boys, especially you, Younes, I know in your recent videos, you were the first one out of us that said, you don't have wing backs. Start playing 4 at the back. Like, don't continue with this wing back play when you don't have wing backs. And I dismissed that initially thinking, how's he going to just go back to 4? Like, he's been playing 3 at the back, continue on, fit it. But I completely understand now. Alonso and Azpilicueta, it completely destroys your system.
It's funny because Alonso's a wing back.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to add that, if Alonso's not a wing back, because he's definitely not a left back, what is he then? Because if he's can't play,
he's a water boy.
My two biggest issues with Tuchel in that game. The reason why I don't criticize him much is because I think there's so much more to criticize that I just focus on the bigger issues. But if we are to criticize Tuchel, I really wanted to see, shockingly, and the whole chat is going to cheer, I want to see Malang start at left back.
Me too.
Because the performance against Tottenham deserved a start at left back.
Yeah.
He's defensively 1v1. He may still have errors, but at least he's quicker and more aggressive and stronger. So duels-wise, he's going to just be a lot more competent at putting up a fight than Alonso will, who's very slow and terrible 1v1, terrible tackler. So I would have wanted Malang Sarr in that back 4. Rest of the back 4 is fine. There's no real other options. And I don't like to see forward combinations that have no chemistry, but we've never seen before. So, for instance, Pulisic against Manchester City playing with Lukaku. For me, I look at their profiles and they couldn't be more of a mismatch than they are. Lukaku wants a winger like Hudson-Odoi, who was poor, but he or like Ziyech, who was also poor, but someone like him who is direct, crosses the ball, whips it in quickly, plays long-range passing, switches play. They're not consistent, either of those two, but that's the kind of player at a higher level that Lukaku would like. Pulisic is the complete opposite of those two. Yeah. He's not that type of winger. He wants to play the ball into Giroud or into someone and then run off of them, or he wants to dribble and combine with players 1-2s, or he wants to run in behind like he did under Lampard in that brief spell when him and Giroud was playing, but he was making those runs in behind and scoring goals and running into the penalty box.
The recent Liverpool goal, Matisse. The recent Liverpool one, running in behind.
Running in behind. Pulisic, for me, and I understand we've had loads of injuries, but now that we've got people back, I don't want to see Pulisic really at wing back anymore because it's not really his role at all. But I also don't want to see Pulisic as involved in build-up play as he has been, either as a target man or as a winger. Just dropping deep and dribbling aimlessly, because Pulisic doesn't have the variety of passing in his armory, in his arsenal, to, after that dribbling, get his head up and play the decisive pass. He's just not doing it. There was at a point where I thought he could do it, but at the moment he's not doing it. Better for Pulisic to be used like Werner, who just runs in behind, 1v1, 1v1, 1v1. Cross comes in from the right, Pulisic back post, Sterling. Simplify his game completely. Like, take all build-up away from this man. And obviously not all build-up, but you know what I mean? Like, just way less responsibility build-up play, because he's not a final third passer. He's not a decisive passer. When we look at people who, when Lukaku puts his hand up to make that run, people who won't put the ball in behind quick enough, it's been Kante. In the last game, I saw Kante many times just completely not even see it and just kept dribbling. Pulisic is another one. Ziyech will play the pass, but it was under hit against Man City a lot of the time. Azpilicueta, Azpilicueta is probably one of the worst for it. These type of players, you got to remove them when Lukaku's there, because it's just becoming an ongoing pattern now. It's boring to see. But then if he's not there, then obviously they can obviously come in. Pulisic's best performance was this season probably against Palace with Kai. You know, and I think last season also with Kai, someone who wants to link up a bit more. He's nowhere near Giroud in terms of hold up, but he's a bit closer. So it's not a solution, because we're still not going to score enough goals, but it's just some sort of chemistry from previous times would be nice. Do you know what I mean? Because if they're all inconsistent anyway, then we may as well go off whatever we've seen. Hudson-Odoi and Havertz, we've seen something. Pulisic and Havertz, we've seen something. Ziyech and Werner, we've seen something. Lukaku, I don't know if he's seen anything with anyone, but you know. Yeah, but I mean, after all that said, Miz, what's your confidence for Tottenham? Like you said, it's like you and you said, it's going to be more difficult, right, than the cup game probably. Conte, it's a league game. They're for me got a better chance. I've always said it on Big Six, better chance than Arsenal finishing top 4 because they have Conte. Man United should still make it because of the squad they have, but then I'd have Tottenham after them just because of Conte, the Conte factor.
What we probably haven't talked heavily enough is, and I think we all talked about it in our individual channels. I know both you boys have put videos about this. There is something wrong. There is not just the tactics, there is something wrong internally. Now, whether it is because of it all stemmed from that interview, I don't know whether all the players are looking at Lukaku eye to eye. And I don't know if they appreciate... I mean, think about it. I want to ask both of you guys. I mean, if you were a player right now in Chelsea Football Club and you see someone like Romelu Lukaku start week in, week out. He started against Spurs, started against Chesterfield, started against Spurs again, started against Brighton. And you got players like Mason Mount getting dropped. You got players like Kai Havertz, who's not even seeing any minutes. Timo Werner is getting dropped. Ziyech is getting dropped as well. Callum. But Lukaku keeps playing all the time. If I was a Chelsea player right now, I'd be like, oh, okay, I can do that and still start? All right. Noted. I'll remember next time. Maybe I'll do an interview like that, crazy one, controversial one. Looks like I'm not going to be dropped. And I don't know whether that is creating a bit of an issue internally, if they've all actually forgiven, Romelu Lukaku. And the fact that Romelu Lukaku keeps talking about his multifaceted, multidimensional, how he talks about, and not just him, how the media has been, putting this up that Chelsea needs to play around Lukaku. Even some of the fans lately have been saying, we're not playing to the strengths of Lukaku. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Even Thomas Tuchel in the press conference just before the Brighton game, he said, this is not about 10 players serving one. It's a team sport. I'm pretty sure, and I want to hear from you guys, I'm pretty sure these players are seeing all this, and I'm not sure if they will be entertained that Who are you? Who are you, Romelu? We are the European champions here. We won the Champions League without you. Now you come here and it's all about you now. You do the interview, you demean the football club, but you still start. You drop disaster classes. He had more attempts on tying his shoelaces as opposed to taking shots against Brighton. He was tying his shoelaces non-stop.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even tie your shoelace once. You need to tie it 3 times. Come on, man.
What's mad with Lukaku, and I think this needs to be said at this point, I think we are doing too much to try and base everything around him for someone that hasn't shown even the right attitude to even deserve to be in the starting 11.
Mm.
I think is affecting the way we move forward, the way we play. I think it's affecting the roles of the other players that are having to change their game completely to adapt to this guy up top who isn't even helping himself, even during a game where there's this debate about, is he getting enough service? And at times I see that. Yes, at times I see that the pass isn't made. But for 3, 4, 5 games, like it goes on and on and on. If it's not just a 1, 2, 3 game story, it's something that keeps dragging and dragging and dragging. You got to start looking at yourself, big man, because everyone else is getting the ball except you. You know, if you're not dropping deep enough to contribute, and if you're not getting into roles where others are starting to fill in for you with the job that you should be doing, it's like we're doing way too much and trying to put way too much effort. We're forcing the entire system on him to get him going, and he's a non-starter. And everyone else is paying the price of it. And now everyone else is dropping in form, even going forward. And that's having a confidence thing on them as well now. Even mentally, they're getting affected because now they're starting to doubt themselves and their games, and that's going to play on them psychologically. So it's affecting everything. The way I look at this is now I feel like it's being way too forced. I feel like we're trying to get this non-starter starting. It's not happening, and everyone else is paying the price, and we're still going on with it. This is why I feel for Thomas Tuchel, because the guy cost 100 million. You know, for Chelsea, it was seen as an investment. It was seen as, okay, we're getting this guy. He's the final piece of the puzzle, and he's not playing like it at all.
He needs to drop. What did Pep Guardiola do with Grealish?
But this is the
100
thing.
million as well.
Personally, for me, I'd drop him. I'd drop him and you're done. As far as I'm concerned, I don't even need you here anymore. That's me. That's me. But at Chelsea, you know what it is. I mean, this is the problem we've had, and this is why half the video was talking about the board and money and finances. And like, if Thomas Tuchel done that and results don't go our way, he's finished.
No, Thomas Tuchel's the one who's going to get sacked.
Exactly. He's finished.
Matt Law's recent article that just dropped a few hours ago talks about how Ziyech thinks he will outlast Thomas Tuchel. Where are these players getting the audacity to think like that? It's because of the board. They see Chelsea's a circus. They'll get rid of Tuchel before they get rid of me.
And all of these transfer targets, Hazard, Dembele, they are plasters to gunshot wounds.
Exactly.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
They are plasters to gunshot wounds.
And we've had enough of them. We've had enough of.
So the fan base is now getting, the fan base is getting excited again because the Chelsea board have seen an opportunity in Dembele, who's running out of contract, who has played around 85 to 90 games in the last 5 years. He's played 2 seasons worth of games in 5 years. Wow. And they're getting excited because there's another new player coming in, another plaster over a gunshot wound. And instead of doing the surgery, which is a proper structure, to give him the same level of technical director he had at Dortmund, same level of scouts that they have at Leicester, Southampton, Liverpool, Dortmund, Ajax, wherever you name it, better scouts. Sevilla, incredible model they've got going on over there at the moment.
But even Bayern Munich, bro. Bayern Munich, they don't miss.
Yeah.
Even
Arsenal have got probably better scouts at the moment from the window they've just done. And Manchester United are obviously about to go technical director with Rangnick. So even though they're absolutely awful right now, at least there is probably a plan there. We'll see how well it goes with the appointment. But, instead of doing the necessary surgery, they want to do plasters. So, I'm not going to fall for it again. I'm not going to get excited over any luxurious big name especially one that it comes at a risk as high as Dembele. And like Miss said, it's about the character. You know, we have built a squad of players, personality-wise, that don't cause too much fuss or too much trouble for the first time in ever. And we bring one Lukaku egocentric maniac into that group, and look what it's done. Now we bring another one in and another one in. And then if we go for a rough patch again, these are the type of players that cause the problems. And then the manager, they turn on him, he gets sacked, because the squad is always more powerful than the manager in modern football. And like you said, I don't like Dembele's personality. I think he's been unprofessional a lot of his playing career, and he's left his clubs in an unprofessional manner each time. So there's too much risk. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I don't think it is going to work. And I think it's a lot of risk to take. And I don't think it's necessary if you have proper scouts. I don't think Liverpool would buy Dembele. I don't think Manchester City would buy Dembele. And I start to look at those two clubs, and I think if they wouldn't sign them, then why are we signing them? That's how I see it.
And here's the thing. Once again, I want to hear from both of you guys, right? Why aren't we going with Premier League players? This is why I feel like players like Jared Bowen, Rafinha, who's the other one that someone named recently? But yeah, Jared Bowen, Rafinha, Maximilian Kilman from Wolves, the defender. Why aren't we going for these sort of Premier League proven type of players? Because I'm telling you, these players will eventually go to Liverpool. Liverpool will be picking these Premier League proven players very soon. I don't understand what are we allergic to Premier League proven players or something? I mean, I don't get it. Dennis from Watford as well. Dennis would probably become the next Mane. I'm telling you right now. Why aren't we linked with them, boys?
It's crazy. And the fact that, for me, just again, this is the job of the scouts. This goes back to the point from earlier on. This is meant to be the job of our scouts. And we as fans are not employed as scouts. We don't have that proper expertise. We have our views. Personally, I agree. I think looking in league is probably best, especially when you look at other case studies, Liverpool being an example. You look at the talent that pops up at Southampton and Leicester, like we've already just said. Some of the clubs, you just named Dennis, who's playing at Watford. Like there are players. This league is rich. This league is rich.
Premier League play,
yeah. So absolutely. I think as well, when you look in terms of other leagues, right, if there's one league that I think we as a club have the best track record in terms of taking players from, it's Ligue 1 in France. And I feel like that's probably a place where you go. Why my own theory is because when you look at the styles that they have in Germany and Italy, we can testify. Players that have come from there don't exactly bang here, do they? And now the latest is obviously what's happened with Lukaku. Is absolutely looking fantastic at Inter, comes here and all of a sudden hitting blanks, and now his attitude's a problem. But they come over here having feel like they've already made it. I feel, that they're at the top of their game. They're banging in goals. They're going to come to the Premier League. And it's going to be straightforward. It's going to be easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I feel like even from La Liga, that could be a problem as well, even though I think La Liga, you'd find good talent. But La Liga is La Liga. Let's have it right. After the Premier League, it's La Liga. Even at one time, La Liga was seen as better than the Premier League. So I feel like there is that, superiority complex that can come in. With France, everyone knows. Everyone and their mother knows. France doesn't touch England in terms of levels. So those players that are coming from France know they're coming to the Premier League and they go, oh, crap. This is going to be hard. This is going to be hard, but it's a challenge and I'm going to take it. And I feel like they have points to prove. So I feel like that helps us in terms of taking players in. But you're right. In terms of the players we have here in England, we don't do enough at all to be able to look in-house in terms of what we have in the Premier League and start scouting here instead. Because there is big talent. And as you said, Premier League proven. Why we're not doing it, I don't know.
Man City, Kyle Walker, Raheem Sterling, Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
You can even say KDB stole it from us from a long time ago. Perhaps wasn't he on loan to Wolfsburg from us, or did we sell to Wolfsburg?
We sold him. Okay. But do you know what it is with Man City is they are what we were in 2005. They've got the structure, and then they've also got the money, unlimited money. Like they don't care what they have to spend really. I mean, within reason, obviously they won't blow the budget wage-wise for Alexis Sanchez and Maguire and Fred, but they will they will buy someone. They will buy 3 people at fullback for 50 million each. Do you know what I mean? So I don't feel like we're ever going to be like Man City just because Roman isn't going to put that type of money in. But we do need to move as smart as them in terms of the market. I think that's more where I would say we need to look at, because this is why the academy is so important, because we're not going to spend ridiculous amounts of money. We have to sell to buy, and not only for squad space, but also just because we don't want to be in the red. We're already in the red this year because of COVID and stadium attendances. The stadium's too small. We don't make enough revenue from the stadium, so then that means we have to make more money from transfers or etc. So it's a cycle of different problems.
I feel like with Chelsea, when you look historically as well, in terms of that 2004-5 team, right? The players that we brought in, we everyone was like, oh, look at Chelsea splashing the cash. They've got money now and all of that. When you look back, we didn't actually go and get like big blockbuster signings. We didn't. We played it so smart. We were getting this little player here, that player there, this player here, that player there, and we transformed the squad. But it only took us until 2009, if I'm not mistaken, for us to spend 50 million on Torres.
Yeah. And
that was a record signing at the time. That was 50, right? Everything prior to that was a lot less. We were spending 20s and 30s and, plucking out talent because we were realizing where the talent was, Now I feel like everyone has this obsession that, we got to go after the big names. Big names will sort out the problem. And I think that's where we've all learned a lesson with the whole Lukaku story, because I think we all had that. Lukaku's going to come, he's going to bang. 100 million, give him the money. And I think now we know in hindsight that was the wrong thing to do. So, I think, Man City is a good example. Liverpool have done it more recently as well. We've got to start looking for talent, and maybe even in the Premier League.
I mean, Liverpool, Van Dijk, Henderson,
Jota,
Mane, Jota.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. So, we've got talent, man. Look, it all comes down to, as you boys said, the first half. It all leads to the first half of this particular stream. That's where the crux of the issue is. You get that right, the rest will fall into place. Until that is right, get ready for more merry-go-round. I honestly, I'll put it out there, boys. I will not be one bit surprised if somewhere along the season Thomas Tuchel's job comes into disrepute. I will not be surprised. Drop points against Spurs, matter escalates even more. Yeah. Luckily, after Spurs, Premier League is off for a little bit. But straight after that, once Club World Cup and everything is finished, and he doesn't pick up points, it ain't going to end well.
Even the Club World Cup. We got to go there and win the thing now. If we're even going to think of calming things down that bit, we got to win the Club World Cup. We have to.
But I reckon if we screw that, he could be gone.
There'll be problems, yeah.
I'm not even going to even contemplate him leaving this season, because I think it would just be an absolute travesty. But I don't think we're currently set up club-wise for him to be here for the time period that I want him to be here, which is a Klopp and Pep. And that's why I'm so hell-bent on those changes being made to mirror those clubs, because if we don't do that, then at some point in the next season, he will probably get sacked. Or because he won't be backed for the financial reasons that I'm talking about, with the financial restrictions that we're currently working under. Because either we have to splash, buy obvious targets like we have been, and flip this squad very quickly in the next window or two, or we have to do proper structure and scout properly and bring in players that way. But either way, it's probably going to be at the detriment of our academy if we're not careful. I mean, we've seen already the links with Brozier, etc. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, the overriding point for me today is that the club structure needs to change if we're going to see change in the managerial dugout in terms of longevity. If we don't do that, then we're going to have the same thing happen again and again and again. And it's as simple as that. But before we go, score predictions for Tottenham. Younes, what are you thinking?
Oh, I hate this bit. Because it's mad. Against Brighton, I said 2-1. Deep down, I knew there'd be a chance we might not get a result. And after yesterday and the way Tottenham came back against Leicester in minute 94, how do you tell? It's like I've seen all the memes. How do you tell your kids that at 94 minutes Leicester lost this game? How do you tell your kids? Like it's one day. Look what happened 30 years ago. 94 minutes. Leicester were 2-1 up against Tottenham. How do you think it ended? You'd never say 3-2 Spurs. So they're gonna come with a confidence, man. They're gonna come with a buzz. They're gonna come determined. Even Conte gonna come determined. We've lost to Chelsea twice, very, very recently. Hey, we've got a little bit of form now. We can't let that happen again. You guys are going to leave everything on that pitch. And I feel like that mentality right now is nowhere near to what we are right now.
Yeah.
We're not there at all. Mentally, we're not there. And that's what scares me. So realistically, it should be finishing Chelsea 2, Spurs 0. Yeah, that's how, if things were normal, that's how it should be going. I can say 1-1 if I'm being real. So it depends what Chelsea shows up. It really does. And I think we're going to learn the answer of what Thomas Tuchel said after the game, where he said the players are tired. I'm giving them 2 days off. Right? If that's not enough for players to at least have a little bit of downtime, forget football for a bit, recover mentally and physically, and they still put on a stinker, then it's not down to tiredness. So we're going to find out against Spurs. It's up to Chelsea. Show us what you guys have.
What about you, Miz? What's your prediction?
Yeah, just on that fatigue, Younes, I saw your video, man. I commented the same thing post-match. I don't think it's fatigue because you literally have rotated all of these players. Like Ziyech doesn't play on a regular basis. You drop Mount against City. Lukaku only just came back after that interview. So the only 2 players that could probably complain about fatigue is Rudiger and Silva. They've been playing non-stop.
Yeah.
That's the only one. Mental fatigue, well, that's on you, Thomas Tuchel, to make sure they're not mentally fatiguing. That's on you to control that. Why are you mentally getting fatigued? So that's one thing. Kane, when I think about the word multi-dimensional, multifaceted, Kane, have a look at what Kane did against Leicester. That is multifaceted, multi-dimensional. When he doesn't get service up front, he drops and he demands the ball. Give it to my feet now.
There we are.
And then he lays off passes, sets up Bergwijn for that final goal. He scores a goal out of, pretty much nothing. The equalizer. Yeah. That's what you do, man. When you're not involved, Lukaku, you've played 2 games in a row now. Spurs and Brighton, first half apparently record, least amount of touches, 8. 8 touches for the first 45 minutes, 2 games in a row. Spurs and Brighton. You can't be having 8 touches, man. Brighton. Come on. Oh, sorry. City and Brighton. So, look, people are going to be bantering, but it's Spurs. No, as Younes said, they've lost 2. They're going to come for it this time. They ain't going to try and make it 3. We better be up for the challenge, because if we're not up for the challenge, if we look disoriented, where the team looks like they don't really want to talk to each other. Antonio Conte, oh my God. Younes, you saw the match, right?
Big opportunity for him, yeah.
Do you see how he celebrated that match against Leicester?
It took me back.
It took me back. It just made me realize that guy used to do that for us. You know what I mean?
Pain.
And you think he's not going to be bringing that thunder when he plays? You think he's not? There will be no team talk about strategy and tactics. He will be looking at each of them and saying,
"It's war,
mother effer. You better go out there and get that victory. I ain't losing 3 times against these guys."
Yeah,
that's the strategy. Go out there and play now. I don't care how you do it. Murder someone if you have to. Win.
Literally.
So,
and what a statement it would be for Conte at the Bridge against us.
Yeah.
That'd be a big statement.
Our record at the Bridge as well this season, not the greatest. So to cut the long story short, look, I want us to win, because if we draw, we're in trouble. So I'll go with the win. But deep down, like Younes, I don't know. I'm not feeling a win. I'm feeling a draw, but we have to win. If we draw, oof. No.
And even for us to not put aside the fact that it's Tottenham and Conte and all the factors we've just displayed, another draw, like just on that, another draw. I mean, we might as well change our name to 1 Point FC.
How many? I think have we won 2 games in the last 10 or something, or 9?
3 in the last 11.
11, yeah.
That was Frank Lampard records last season, by the way. And I'm not comparing because Thomas Tuchel's done a madness. I'm not saying, but I'm saying in terms of the results, 3 in 11, that was what Frank was on. Although Frank didn't get that many draws, he lost. But the draws might as well, like they're just as bad as a loss, to be honest. So Thomas Tuchel better get a grip on this team because I feel like the grip is just coming off a little bit. He needs to man up.
Well, guys, listen, we've come towards the end of the show.
What's your prediction?
Do I have to?
Yeah. What's your prediction, bro? You think you're gonna get away with like that?
You see how I just tried to sneak away there, like as if I did.
Younes, the 100K was on the money, bro. That's why he's on 100K, bro. That's why we're lagging. Well, I think like that 100K, man.
I'm gonna give it 2-0. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You won't tell the team. You're not gonna tell us the team. Just 2-0.
I don't want to discuss the team because the team depresses me. The team depresses me, and also I don't even know what's going. I never really give my team before press conferences because Tuchel just come out and just say this person's not available, this person's not available, this person just caught COVID. Yeah. There's no point. But I'm gonna go 2-0. But that's more me just being positive.
I love how he didn't say 2-0 Chelsea. So if it finishes 2-0 Spurs, he's gonna come on here and be like, "I told you, isn't it?"
This is what I said. He's not telling the team, so he's gonna come back and say, "You guys said what's the score? I said 2-0. You didn't say who? I mean 2-0. Spurs 2-0. There you go."
Yeah, I'm leaving that ajar. But big up to the chat. Obviously, come towards the end of the show. Younes, let them know where to find you. Everywhere they can get their Younes Talks Football content.
Yeah, as it says down here, Younes Talks Football. Obviously, we're going to be looking into the Chelsea Spurs game coming up. In the meantime, I think I've got to do a video to address this Dembele thing and all of that because I haven't done it yet. But that will come later today. There's obviously the daily Africa Cup of Nations recap that I'm doing, and today's going to be very interesting. So I'll see what happens, and we'll just lead up to the weekend and see if we can get a result against Spurs.
There we go. And Miz, let them know where to find you, bro. Any content coming out?
Yeah, I just before I came to record this, obviously it doesn't really matter the timing for you guys because you guys will see this premiering much later on. But Dembele video from my side is out where I talked about extensively a few things. Outside of football where we need to think about. So check that out if you want to. Shout out to the boys as well. The AFCON coverage from Younes is stupendous. Check that out. And Matisse lately is making me laugh with the Saj in the background. I know you had that, but that's a cracker. Like that's what makes your channel because of that touch at the background. It just gives a very light-hearted feel to every conversation. You have the serious Matisse, and then Saj from the background will drop something utterly stupid, and then it's all a laugh. It's all a funny thing. So
especially as a City fan, he's in the background just gloating like you guys don't know what you're doing.
Constantly gloating. It's a problem.
He's doing a madness in the background, which is great. So now shout out to you boys for doing that. Yeah, you can catch me on the other side of them. By the way, I've seen some comments at times. I choose to put Miz here, not because I can't put the other side. It does fit, but it's easier to just put Miz because that's me. That's my name. But the channel name is The Other Side of the Coin. Subscribe. Very close to 10,000 now. I think only 300 away, something like that. Make sure you subscribe.
There you are. Well, guys, big up your damn souls for watching. It's been a great show. It's been a lot spoken about here that we'll see in a few months, even years' time, how this club have acted and how they have decided to run this Tuchel era. It could be the era for change and the era for longevity, or it could be the era of just normality and repetitive action. So we'll see what it is. But we're going for our first tough spell at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes us to get out of it and what we do in January. Actually, we've got 11 days left of January. We needed wing backs, but now we're going to potentially get an 8th attacker.
Maybe he's a wing back.
I mean, everybody's forgotten about the whole wing back thing, but yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, we'll see. Plasters over gunshot wounds and more players in A&E in a bit, people. Peace.